Hey my fellow addicts, welcome back to the channel. We are doing a double review today. We are taking a look at the new Trust golf ball lineup they have in their Bison series, one being the Power V and one being the Power X. Let's dive right in. Guys, if you love this content, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost nothing. I appreciate you. Also, we do have a membership that just starts at $1 a month. Really helps the channel out, and we appreciate it as always. If you want to see more reviews like this where I do two golf balls at once, like for example, if there is an X model series and a regular, like I could have done it with the PXGs. I could have done the PXG Tour and the Tour X and just done them together. If you think that's a better way to do it, please let me know. In the past, I've always separated them just because it's more content, it's more views. But now I'm kind of getting to a point in the channel where I actually need to slow down a little bit and I need to just focus on, you know, I'm trying so hard to get through all these golf balls that if I'm separating them, that's actually kind of hurting me. And so if you like it this way, please let me know and I'll just continue to do it that way from here on out. So Trust was nice enough to send me a couple of their new ones. I actually had a couple of their old ones I'd bought in a long time ago, but I guess they released a brand new model, so that's even cooler. And a couple of you have been asking for these reviews for a while. They also do make an Aurora series, which is more of a value tour ball, which is that's my favorite, is value tour line because they're usually a little softer. And they also make a high handicapper, the Panther. This is definitely their going after the Pro V line balls. You can just tell by the way it's worded on their website, the language they use, you know, the marketing they use. These are the golf balls that are supposed to be more tour-like. Now, usually with tour-like golf balls, that means a couple things. One, I don't expect them to be very forgiving. I don't expect them to kind of correct you on mishits a little bit. I think there might be some dispersion there, not only with the distance lost, but the side spin, the backspin as a total. I think it'll be worse on the X model, but we'll see. But, you know, hopefully this regular V power, which is for under 105, hopefully that one is a little bit more forgiving, but again, when you have 105 mile an hour, that's a really high swing speed. So these could specifically be for advanced players. We'll definitely dive into more of that later as well. Let's talk about the price point real quick. These come in at a price point of $39.99 on Trust's website. They do offer a buy three, get one free, which makes them $30 a dozen, which that's actually a really competitive market. You have a three-piece urethane golf ball here, and you know, when you're talking about three-piece urethane, that $29.99 is the real sweet spot right now. There's a lot of great companies out there that we've reviewed this year that are in that price point, so that's really good. Now, $39.99, that's the opposite side of the spectrum. That's kind of getting into the, you're getting into a dangerous, you know, expensive line because Vice is $39.99. You can get a lot of like TaylorMade Tour Response for around that price. That's more of a AAA ball price. So I'm not super crazy about the $39.99, but I do like the fact that they offer the buy three, get one free. So if you try this golf ball, you end up liking it, you can save some money. All right, so let's talk about the design of these two golf balls. Let's go ahead and get into the Power V first. This has this Trust logo, which as you can see, the T is like a little golfer holding a golf club after a shot. It is unique, but the whole thing does kind of look, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I promise you, but it does look a little feminine, and it's not a bad thing, I promise, but it just does, because you can see the coating has a little bit of sparkly glitter to it, which I don't mind, but the T, the Trust, the way it's a little bit of cursive, it reminds me of a female ball. If someone just handed it to me and said, hey, look at this, I would think, oh yeah, this is a ladies' ball. Again, not in any negative way, but just that's how it looks to me. That's how it kind of gives off that vibe. It is a unique logo. They have the 3 on there. Overall, it's not a bad design, but it's not real professional by any means. And when you have a professional ball that's designed to go right up against tour balls, and that's how you're advertising it, I would want it to be a little more tightened up, but hey, I mean, design is what it is. Looking on the side here, now this is where Trust made a very good decision. This alignment tool right here is awesome. I love how they show, you know, Bison Power V on there. It's a thick alignment tool. You got the 2 lines on top and bottom. Really great design there with the alignment tool. I think that is fantastic. And like I said, you know, the whole thing, it does feel really good. And it has what this is called. It's like a formulated coating they put around it. It's supposed to be patented and all that. But the idea of it is that you can see your ball a little better, and I can vouch for that. I had it out on the course. I was able to see it. The sun glistens off it really well. And even though it does kind of give it that, you know, more feminine touch, I don't mind it. It actually is unique, and I don't mind a golf ball trying to be unique, especially in a crowded market. So I actually give it credit for that. Really, as a whole, the only thing that bothers me is that Trust logo. I wish they could kind of tighten that up a little bit because the Bison Power V on the side looks phenomenal. So That would be my only really big criticism, but other than that, it looks fine. And then if you move over into, of course, the X model, the main difference you'll see is that the number is red, which usually is how golf companies will indicate an X model. Same logo, same design really, all there, just a firmer compression. And then if you look on that alignment tool again, this one says Bison Power X. It's red, it's bright, it's vivid, it's thick. I love that. I mean, it's easy to line up your ball. If I hold up these alignment tools here, it's not hard to see either one of them. You can clearly see them there from the camera. Looks really good. So yeah, that's your design. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. Let's get out to the chipping and putting green and let's see how it does around there. Yeah, you can definitely see how shiny these golf balls are. They have a shine to them unlike any other golf ball I've seen out there. It's kind of unique, it's different. It kind of gives it a little bit of a unique look, but I imagine there's gonna be a lot of older gentlemen that don't like this look if you're a traditionalist. This definitely could give the remnants of a lady's ball, just because of how bright it is and how like it has like almost like a salmon skin, you know what I mean, like a really reflective. I don't mind it, but I think there's a lot of traditionalists who aren't going to like that. They're going to want the old traditional white, but we'll see. All right, let's see what this ball can do. Boy, that felt phenomenal. Really soft, not a lot of sound. Really good strike, really let me know in the hands that it was a good strike, and as you can see, it almost went in. A really good amount of spin too, so yes please, I'll have another of that. That one was a little louder on the click. Again, a good amount of spin, a good amount of checkup. I could see the rotation. Phenomenal feel, love the feel. One more time. Wow, did you see that? Oh my goodness, lots of spin. I mean, it really gripped the green and it shot. I had the face a little open and it shot to the right. There was bass effect. That's a heavy, heavy amount of spin. Let's validate the parking with a couple more. All right, let's try to get this one to go left. You know, not a lot of left spin actually. Maybe this one's just specifically backspin. I mean, it did bounce right a minute ago. Maybe it was a mishit. Let me try again. Boy, no, it didn't really want to go left on me. Okay, fair enough. All right, last ball, let's make it count. Let's hit a nasty, nasty cut. A really good amount of spin there. I mean, this golf ball has a lot of grip. It feels that way, even though I know the look is going to turn somebody off. It's really nice. I mean, it has a lot of spin. It does everything exactly the way I would expect a Tour or a Tour X model golf ball to do. It's definitely one of the higher spinning golf balls I've seen. It has a lot of rotation on it. You can see it. Lots of spin, very low. Not a great strike, but still really good. So I hit that one too hard, but it had plenty of checkup. You could see I just hit it way too hot. Amazing feel. It really gives great feedback in the hands, and the feel is awesome, and it's a very dead sounding click. It has a noticeable click for sure as far as the volume level, but it's not obnoxious. It's actually kind of right in that sweet zone where I like it. I mean, so far this and the X model both have really impressed me. Let's go ahead and validate it. Good strike. That's hilarious. That had a chance to go in the hole, but there was so much spin that it stopped well short of what I wanted. So a lot of checkup there. Even on mishits, it does forgive you a good amount, which is awesome. These direct-to-consumer, more value, less expensive golf balls seem to do that a lot of the time, and this one's no different. It's checking all the boxes so far. All right, let's see if we can get one to go left here. I couldn't with the X model, but let's see about this one. Oh man, yeah, that had some jump to it. Holy cow, that shot left like a rocket. I don't know that I've ever seen that much left bounce. That was pretty crazy. Let's try to hit a nasty, nasty cut. Nope, that's not gonna do it. That was hit off the bottom, I apologize. Not bad. You know, again, it's kind of falls into some of these tour balls. They end up being a little inconsistent only because I'm inconsistent. When you're doing checkup with a golf ball, and this is why all the time I tell a lot of golfers, like, hey, if you think you need a lot of checkup, validate that by really being honest with yourself and asking if you do, because checkup isn't as easy as just, okay, I'm gonna hit it, okay, ball checked up. Everything's gotta be right. Your swing, even on a chip, has to be correct. You have to really hit it in the center. You have to get it to where it's gonna catch the grooves just right. There's a lot of factors in play. And so what I'm finding is that sometimes I'm hitting this golf ball and it's spinning like a madman and it's checking up and stopping short of the hole. And then sometimes I catch it a little low, I don't catch it exactly right, and it rolls off the back of the green. And if you're an advanced player, that doesn't really affect you because you can hit the ball well enough, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're still an average Joe and if you're still learning this game and trying to get really, really good at it like I am, it's just there's too much inconsistency. I'd rather have a two-piece where I get that consistent rollout every single time, and so just keep that in mind. But I would say that this is definitely for a higher intermediate or an advanced intermediate to an advanced player for sure based on that. All right, let's see how we do. Of course, we have the mallet putter, really thick, a lot more deadening. Let's see how the feel is. Let's see what we're working with. Huh, okay. Okay, not bad. Interesting. Let me validate the parking here. Then I'll give you some thoughts. Goodness. Okay, one more time. This is good. This is good for sure. I'm just cooking. Just let me cook for a second. Okay, so interesting. So what we have here is the feel is a little weird. It's definitely dead. It doesn't have a lot of spring to it. You know, I just got done testing the PXG and it was like boing as soon as you hit it. Not the case here. This is more of a real slowish, steady power kind of move. But boy, just the feel, the release, the roll, really consistent and really nice. I really enjoyed it a lot. And as you can see, 2 ended up going in the hole. So I actually liked the distance control a lot. It didn't take a lot. And also, even one of those was a miss hit and I couldn't even really tell. So it's actually pretty forgiving as well. Let's grab the blade putter. Let's see how that changes it. Yeah, and golf ball companies really take notice. You know, whether it's the PXG or whether it's the Cut DC or whether it's these truss right here, having a thick, consistent alignment tool, boy, you'll get thumbs up from me for sure. I love being able to putt with a nice thick alignment tool, and these are actually colored. So like this one's red, I think the other one's black, but this one's red, so it really stands out. Like, I love that. It really helps the game out. A lot of golfers it helps out, so keep that in mind. Okay, that's the first time I've even seen a little bit of chug effect, but again, that could have been me. It still had a really great release, a really great sound, feel. Awesome, but just let me check on that. That's a true roll. That's incredible. See if I can knock that one in with this one. Nope, went left, dang. Okay, so the roll on this one might not be as good. This one's a little less forgiving as far as what I just tested with the PXG. And it's only with the blade putter. Keep that in mind. The mallet, because it's so thick and because it's so heavy, I had 0 issues with that. When it comes to this, however, it was a little louder and the roll started to get a little inconsistent, but that's also just kind of the difference between blade putters and mallet putters anyway. That's why so many people have made that switch. All right, big thick mallet putter with the V now. Let's see what we're working with here. Interesting. Gotta fix that hole. Try another one here. Yep, so it comes off the club really good, has a pretty good feel for the most part. It's not like got this pop or this crispiness that some of the other ones I've tested more recently have, but there's nothing wrong with it. I call it like an 8 out of 10 on feel, 8 out of 10 on sound. It's above average for sure, but it's not blowing me away. It unfortunately gets tested right after I just tested some real winners. Beautiful, yeah, it's really good. It's really consistent. I would have no problem putting with this golf ball. They've done it amazing. I do think I like the X model a little better, but I still haven't done this one with the blade. So let's try that out first and we'll see, and then we'll go from there. All right, now we have the lot thinner blade putter. Let's see how that works. It's probably going to increase the sound a little, but let's see what we're working with. I mean, really, really crispy, like extra crispy on that one. Like you could really hear that subtle, like really loud. So some of you might not like that, but I mean, if you're a traditionalist, you probably will. As far as the roll, the feel, all that, 10 out of 10, top notch. Really, really good stuff here. Okay, not bad. I pulled it a little bit. Feels good, good roll. Yeah, I mean, that was mishit. I purposely mishit it. I kind of like pulled up and kind of hit the bottom of the putter. Still a 10 out of 10 consistent roll. So that's really impressive. So either the X model or the V, you know, they're both really above average. I wouldn't say they're perfect. I just got done testing the PXG before that, and that was, you know, probably the best ever, if not top 3. So it kind of is, the timing's a little weird with it. but they're still excellent around the green. I would have no issue using either of them for putting or for chipping. They get the job done for sure. Okay, so let's talk about feel with all clubs. 9 irons, short irons, mid irons, hybrids, drivers, across the whole thing. Let's start with the Bison Power V. So the Bison Power V, it definitely feels firmer. You know, it says it's an 85 compression, but 85 compressions are not all made the same. For example, the Legato is a 85 compression, and these golf balls could not feel more different. I mean, that's just the reality of it. It does have kind of a heaviness to it. It does feel more traditionally firm. Mishits will rattle your hands. It's not my cup of tea by any means. But if you're someone who likes really responsive feedback to where even your slight mishits will let you know and your major mishits will beat you up in the alley outside, yes, that's what this golf ball is going to do. Now, it's not extreme by any means, right? It's just kind of a mild version of that, but you can definitely tell. Now, when you do hit it pure, it does give you a pretty good feeling, but boy, it has to be pure. I mean, it has to be really front and center, and if it's not, you'll know it. Now, with that in mind, we move over to the X model, and everything gets amped up a little bit, right? Like I just said with, you know, the V, I said, oh, it's not extreme, right? Well, with the X model, it actually gets a little bit more extreme. It gets to the point where mishits really rattle the hands. It feels really, really firm at times. Again, it's designed, it says it's designed to go after the Pro V1X. The Pro V1X is firm for sure, but probably not this firm. It definitely, at the 95 compression point, feels like I should be swinging 110 mile an hour. I know they say 105. I'm going to say 110. It's just not the best feeling ball. You know, in my opinion, the best feeling balls are the ones that have a little bit of softness to them and they have a little bit of crispness to them. And even when I mishit it, I still get a really good response out of it. And I just didn't get a lot of that here. So this is going to be for advanced players. This is going to be for your you know, low 3-2-1 handicap scratch golfers, which does kind of limit the market. It's not really for most of us on this channel, but I do still want to see how these performance numbers go. So as always, we're going to start with the 50-yard pitch. Backspin, of course, you're going to see two numbers. The one on the left will be the Bison, V Power, and then the one on the right will be the X model. So just keep that in mind, and we're going to go through and just kind of compare them side by side. With this being two different, you know, reviews at the same time, it might be a little longer. I apologize. I know sometimes these reviews are long, but just bear with me. I promise the end result's usually pretty good. Let's start with this backspin. All right, so the V is at 7,407, which is a really good number. That's slightly above my average. And the X is with 7,093, which is below my average. And you know, that seems to be a very common occurrence. Most X model golf balls will tell you that they spin more. And with a robot, they do. Because if you have something that is consistently hitting it right in the center and you have the perfect angle of attack and you have, you know, a really nice club and everything is just perfect every single time, then yes, I think the X model the majority of the time gets more spin. If you're an average golfer, like most of us, that's usually not the case because there's a lack of forgiveness there. You hit the Bison V and you mishit it, you get 6,500. You hit it really well, you get 7,500. It averages out, ends up 7,400. I had a pretty good day with it. Not bad. The X, on the other hand, you hit it really well, it's 7,400, 7,500, but if you mishit it, it's 4,000. And so not a lot of spin to be had at all. It really punishes you because of the firmness. It doesn't compress as well and it doesn't spin as much. And so that's kind of what happened here. Neither of these golf balls did bad. They both hit my 7,000 minimum mark, which is awesome. But that's why you see that difference there, is because when I mishit the V, it kind of forgave me a little bit, whereas the X model didn't. Getting into the 9 hybrid. So the Trust V is a 1.36 on your smash factor. The X is a 1.31, so a significant difference there. We'll look and see how it affected the numbers total. 147.7 with the V, 142.2 with the X, so I got about 5 yards more with the V, 148.8 compared to 142.8, so about 6 yards difference there. Actually, not about, 6 yards difference there total. 109.4 compared to 106.7, you know, almost 3 mile an hour more. That's pretty significant. 6,261 spin compared to 6,469 spin. So both of those numbers are lower than my average. 22.1 and 22.3, they both launched mid, basically. So, okay, so from those numbers, really what I can tell is the V is definitely tailored more toward our swing speed, the average swing speed. I know my swing speed's kind of gotten up, well, way higher than it should, and frankly, if you looked at that speed number there, you'll see that it was way too high. So I did, all these numbers I kind of have to take with a grain of salt and bump them down a little bit because I was swinging too fast. My average right now this year, the last 15, 20 golf balls has been around 83 or 84 mile an hour with like a 7-iron. This one was 86. So there's a little bit of increased speed there, and so I have to realize, yes, the ball speed's going to look incredible, but that's because I swung faster. So overall, these numbers are really good, but immediately what I noticed is, what I took away was the X model was lower, and that's because of that forgiveness. It's not that the X model doesn't have the potential to go farther. It does. But a mishit with the X model, I lost a lot of distance, and that's why that average there kind of averaged out to be lower. Getting into the 7-iron, we have a 1.43 smash factor with the V compared to a 1.34 smash factor with the X. So that's almost a 1.0 smash factor difference. That's insane. 178, as you can see there, 160.3, that's an 18-yard difference. 179.5, 162.4, 17-yard difference. 124.3, 114.7, that's a 10-mile-an-hour difference when it comes to these two balls. That's insane. 5,582 compared to 5,488, so really close spin there. 16.9, 16.7, they both launched just slightly below mid, but pretty much mid. This is why I get so frustrated all the time when I get comments. Usually they're from people who come outside the channel, which is fine. I understand we're trying to change the thinking here, but they come on and they talk about how, oh, My Golf Spy and Today's Golfer and Golf Digest and all these companies say X model golf balls are better, period. Doesn't matter if you have a 70-mile-an-hour swing speed. Doesn't matter if you have a, it just doesn't. This is the data I'm talking about when I comment on those, and I say, hey, I have data that proves that otherwise. And they say, oh, no, it's been proven. No, it hasn't been proven. It's been proven with a robot. It's been proven that if you have a great golf club and you do a perfect swing and you get a perfect strike every single time, yes, you can get an extra yard or half yard out of an X model golf ball. But if you're human and you don't have a perfect swing every single time and you do sometimes miss hit, over the course of 10 shots, this is what the numbers look like. An 18-yard difference. Why is that? Because of the forgiveness. When I took the V and I mishit it, it punished me okay. It did. If let's say 175 is a really good shot, it was like 160, 165, somewhere in there. That's not bad. That's pretty decent forgiveness. My slight mishits with the X model, I was getting 130, 135. I was losing 30 to 40 yards. And that's why I will pound the table over and over and over when you people continue to come to me and say, oh, golf ball, the forgiveness, it doesn't exist. It's all in your head. 18 yards is all in my head. I mean, what are we doing here? These golf balls were tested hours apart, same day. Like, this is a big deal. This is why it's so important, and I know you addicts know because you guys are awesome and I know you know. But that's why I pound the table so hard and try to say playing the right golf ball is so important. And again, it goes back to also, sorry to go on the rant, but the people who are like, yeah, I play whatever I can find. Okay, well, what if you find a V on hole 1 and you lose it at the end of hole 2, and then on 3 you play the X? Are you going to know that there's an 18-yard difference? Are you going to know now, oh, wait a minute, if I slightly mishit this, I could... No, guys, it's really important to find a golf ball that works really well for your swing, really well for your game, and just stick with it and get consistency. And that's why I feel so passionate about it. That's why I get so frustrated, is because I get numbers like this, and then I have people tell me, yeah, it's not real. 20-yard difference? Come on. Come on, you guys are smarter than that. I know you are. I love you. All right, sorry for the long rant there. Let's get into the 5 now. We are looking at 1.41 compared to 1.43. Pretty close there on smash factors. 189.3 and 195.9. I will talk about that just in a second because the X model, that was a doozy here. 191.6 compared to 202. 129.3, 132.2. 5,160 on your spin compared to 4,073. That's the big key right there. And then, of course, we have a 15.8 launch compared to a 12.7. The X model was just kind of all over the place on this one. So, again, 5 hybrid, this is what happens here. So a lot of the time with these firmer golf balls, you get into the woods, you get into the hybrids, they start compressing a lot better because you have a lot more weight and you can swing the club faster, right? 92 mile an hour with a hybrid, 98, 99 with a driver, 100 somewhere in there. You get a little bit better results. The number I want you to really pay attention to is that spin number, okay? So 1100 RPM difference. The reason for that does go back into forgiveness again, because what I noticed is that when you hit this ball pure in the X model, it can go 205 to 210 yards. The ball speed is ridiculous, wacky pack, cartoon, Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. It's just insane. I mean, even not even fast swings, just basic easy swings can go 205, 210. It's nuts. But miss hits go 150. And so you're talking about a 60-yard difference. And so yes, my average ended up at 195 because I did hit it pretty well for the most of the time. But there's a lot of disparity there. And I also noticed there's a lot of disparity in spin. If you hit it nice and crisp and pure and you come down on it and get a really good attack angle, yeah, you can get that 5,000 RPM spin and it's going to stop on a dime on the green with a hybrid, which is awesome. But even if you just slightly pull up and hit toward the bottom, boy, you get like 2,000 RPM, and it's a really advanced golf ball. If you're not striking it pure every single time consistently, it's a doozy. And let me tell you something, that firmness where it rattles your hands, I was getting pretty frustrated throughout this review. But you'll notice that spin number. I am happy that the ball speed's incredible. And again, you'll notice that 132.2 ball speed, that's with miss hits being really punishing. There was times I hit just a normal good swing, 138.8. That's insane ball speed. So the potential is there. It's high risk, high reward. You're going to get a ton of distance with this X model if you can really crisp it and hit it pure. But boy, if you miss-hit it, forget about it. Get your pitching wedge out. You got a 50-yard pitch coming in. All right, last but not least, we got the driver smash factors, 1.43 and 1.44, so very similar there. Good to see. 230.4, excuse me, 231.2. Yep, very, very good. The numbers are great and they're consistent. 238.7, 239.9, 144.6, 145.3, 2687, 2664. That's actually high spin for both golf balls, so it does spin high off the driver. 13.8, 13.8. So that actually makes my job really easy because those numbers are just consistent. I mean, they both do the same thing off the driver, which is great. So, and that does show kind of how the different clubs can react sometimes, because the driver teeing it up, swinging the same way, they come out pretty similar. With the hybrid though, hitting down on it, a little bit of difference there because of that forgiveness. So overall, really good performance with the driver there. I would call that very consistent. I just wish it had a little less spin. Boy, if it had a little less spin coming off of it, really could have had some great distance. But overall, I'm not mad at those numbers at all. Let's go ahead and touch on the durability of both golf balls before I give you my final thoughts. Let's start with the V. Looking at it, you can see a couple of really bad scuffs there that do affect putting. It did last pretty much the whole 90 shots of testing it though, so that doesn't bother me. You know, I would call it an easy 7 out of 10 when it comes to the durability here. It's not perfect. You can see some of the paint kind of scratching off, but it lasted the whole round. And when you have a golf ball that's in that 30 to 40 range, if it lasts the whole round, that's good enough for me. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but the PXG coming right after that really hurt it because PXG was just phenomenal. So 7 out of 10, really good job. Also, looking at the X, if you look at it, it doesn't look quite as bad at first because the paint's not as scratched off, but if you look a couple spots here, you can see these abrasions, you can see these cuts, the paint's lifted off, you can't putt with it anymore. And so unfortunately, this would have to be tossed after a round. So again, very consistent. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 also. It's good, not great. So, okay, so final thoughts here. I would really love to test the Trust Aurora series. Because I think that that's going to be more of your value tour line. I think it's going to be softer. I think it's going to have more forgiveness, and I think that's going to be kind of what we're looking for. Also the Panther, you know, being a two-piece golf ball. Two-piece golf balls perform really well on this channel. They always have, they always will. It's just part of it. I am a firm believer that who is this golf ball for, right? They're both for advanced players, 5 handicap or lower. I'm a firm believer of that. The way that the feedback is responsive off of them, the way the forgiveness is, you can bend them. I mean, you can bend them, you can spin them, you can get great distance with them. The potential is there. I don't think there's too much difference between a lot of these tour balls, such as Chrome Tour, Pro V1, all that, and this if you're a really good golfer. I think you could easily make it work. It's just a difference in feel and a difference in preference and ball flight. But as far as the actual performance, no, I think it's right up there with it. The main thing is, though, is just keep in mind, if you're not a scratch golfer and you're not super low, there's really no need to go after these because there's just a lot of punishment with the forgiveness. And I didn't talk about it on the V, but it wasn't perfect. It was just average forgiveness. But the X model was just so horrendous with its forgiveness that that's kind of what I focused on through this video. So I think that this is kind of a stay away for most of us golf ball addicts. I really do. Now, if you're in that category where you are a really phenomenal golfer and you just don't want to pay those prices, there are some other golf balls that I just feel like, you know, the Legato being one. I just feel like there's a lot of congestion in this market right now, and I think the big problem that direct-to-consumer companies are doing is they just try to be too much like the Pro V1. You know, for so many years, I know for 20 years that was the standard, and we just, everything, since I really got into golf, my senior year, 2011, I know everything's just been Pro V1, Pro V1, Pro V1. And you're like, you know, every direct-to-consumer model, hey, we're just like the Pro V1. You know, Tour Ball comes out, hey, comparable to Pro V1. But the reality is we know on this channel at this point that for average golfers, that's not where you want to be. And the best direct-to-consumer golf balls that I've tested are ones that don't try to be like the Pro V1. Trust, my advice to you would be, you know, keep doing what you're doing. These aren't bad golf balls. There's a lot to build on. You're getting better. But stop trying to be like the Pro V1. I mean, I was even looking on your website and I saw the Aurora, which is your value ball. And even on that one, you have, it says, similar feel, Pro V1. You don't need, why? It doesn't need to be like Pro V1. The Pro V1 is firm. It's for advanced players. Why does a value, softer tour ball need to be for Pro V1? It doesn't. So that's kind of the main thing is you don't have to be the Pro V1. I know it probably sells more. I know that's what some people are still looking for. But be yourself. You guys are unique. You're different. You do have a following. People have requested these golf balls. Do that going forward. But guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time.